The top stories tonight in Y News. Liberal Party President and Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman stated that it would be better if the country had a unicameral legislative system. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, protests China's 4-month fishing moratorium over South China Sea. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NTRMC, still confirms the reported fatalities in the onslaught of Typhoon Aghon. And following an Israeli airstrike in Rafah, southern Gaza, which targeted tents sheltering displaced civilians, Palestinian medics report at least 35 fatalities. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 27th of May, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado. First in the news, the passage of Marcos administration's priority bills is at risk due to Senate leadership change. According to a political analyst, the administration's push for economic charter change will face difficulty. Nelma Bohok reports.
Some important bills of the Marcos administration will face difficulty passing in the upper chamber under the leadership of new Senate President Francis Chis Escudero. According to political analyst Dr. Froilan Calilong, the senator has reservations about constitutional amendments. This position of SP Escudero, he said, will have implications for the Senate's priority measures.
Pero yung paglalatag ng mismong agenda, medyo may kumpas pa rin dyan yung Senate President kung ito ay ikukonsidera niya bilang isang priority measure or hindi. No? Pero at the end of the day, again, it's how many numbers do we have in support of the Chacha.
Additionally, Calilong noted that not only the economic charter change but also other controversial bills could see slowed passage.
Maaring magkaroon ng pagbagal doon sa mga controversial issues na at mga legislative agenda na kinikilala ng administration bilang priority, pero tingin ko rin naman magkakaroon din naman ng mas mabilis na dispensation ng mga decision tsaka ng mga legislative processes, especially naman doon sa mga legislative measure na hindi ganoon ka-technical or hindi ganoon ka-controversial.
SP Escudero already expressed confidence senators will approve the priority measures of the Marcos administration and the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, despite a split in the majority coalition of the upper chamber. The Senate President also said that he has no problem with the proposed amendments to the economic provisions of the Constitution. He only wants these to be presented or detailed properly to the public.
Wala akong problema sa anumang uri ng pagpapalit. Basta sabihin lang natin sa taong bayan, ano ba talaga yun? At yun din ang inihintay kong kasagutan at nais kong malaman. Dahil yung economic provisions, may mga batas tayo kaugnay na yan. At yung pinakamabigat na o malaki, pending sa Supreme Court. Pag nagdesisyon ng Korte Suprema, hindi na rin naman problema yun eh.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Liberal Party President and Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman favors the establishment of a unicameral legislative system. According to him, passing laws would be faster compared to the current bicameral Congress. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman has stated that it would be better if the country had a unicameral legislative system. Currently, the Congress of the Philippines operates under a bicameral system consisting of 2 chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate. This means that even if a bill is passed in one chamber, it still needs to be approved by the other chamber. Only then it can be signed by the President and become a law. Representative Lagman believes that if the legislature were unicameral, the process of passing bills would be faster.
Gusto ko unicameral para mabilis ang legislation. At parang ma-pinpoint ang responsibility. Ang responsibility doon sa unicameral. Ngayon nagpapasa ng responsibility yung House o yung Senado. At tumatagal yung legislation.
However, a constitutional amendment would be necessary before this could be implemented.
But that will have to entail a constitutional amendment. Because that is an institutional change.
Recently, the House of Representatives approved several controversial bills, such as the economic charter change. However, the fate of this bill in the Senate is uncertain, especially with the recent change in its leadership. This uncertainty persists even though President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s administration prioritizes economic constitutional reforms. In March, the House approved resolution of both Houses number 7 or RBH 7, which aims to amend the constitutional restrictions on foreign ownership in public utilities, higher education, and advertising. A similar proposal, resolution of both Houses number 6, is pending in a Senate subcommittee. According to Senate President Chis Escudero, the relationship between the Senate and the House needs to be improved before the two chambers of Congress can discuss controversial proposals like the charter change or CHA-CHA.
Sabi ko sa kanya, mag-usap at magkita kami sa darating na linggo marahil para mapag-usapan una sa lahat ang relasyon ng Kamara at ng Senado na sana maayos, wala nang palitan ng maanghang na salita.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippines has protested the fishing ban imposed by China over the South China Sea. In a statement, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, says the Philippines filed a diplomatic note to protest the moratorium as it includes the Philippine maritime zones over which the country has sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction. According to the agency, the ban raises tensions in the West Philippine Sea and the South China Sea and violates the understanding between President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Chinese President Xi Jinping to de-escalate and manage differences through diplomacy and dialogue. The Philippines urges China to stop its illegal actions in the West Philippine Sea and comply with the international law, particularly the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and the 2016 Arbitral Award. So far, the Philippines has filed a total of 158 diplomatic protests against China under the Marcos administration. In other news, the Quezon City Police District has arrested the suspect in the killing of Ms. Sarita Gutierrez, a land transportation official. PNP Public Information Office Chief Police Colonel Jean Fajardo stated that the suspect, identified only as Danny, was apprehended on May 25 in Barangay Batasan Hills, Quezon City.
Immediately po ay nag-create po ng SITG o Special Investigation Task Group ang QCPD at based po doon sa mga nakuha po nilang ebidensya, particularly yung kopya po ng ORCR ng motor na involved po dito sa insidente, ay nakapagsagawa po sila ng follow-up operation at yung investigation po nila led to the identification po ng primary suspect po natin, a certain alias Danny po.
The QCPD is currently investigating the possible motives behind the crime, considering both work-related and personal grudges. Authorities are also looking into the possibility of additional accomplices involved in the crime. The Bureau of Immigration, or BI, is expected to deport another member of the notorious Japanese gang Luffy arrested yesterday. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Bureau of Immigration, or BI, Fugitive Search Unit successfully arrested Nagaura Hiroki, 26 years old, at Barangay Poblacion, Makati City yesterday, May 26. He has been hiding in the country since 2019, and 2022 immigration was informed over his case in Japan. Hiroki has an outstanding warrant of arrest in Japan for theft and robbery and is a remnant of the notorious Japanese gang Luffy. The immigration said he is also being investigated for his alleged involvement in telecommunications fraud activities. Hiroki is already a blacklisted foreigner and perpetually barred from re-entering the country and will face deportation back to Japan. Currently, he is detained in the BI Warden facility at Camp Bagong Diwa, Taguig City. January of this year, 8 of his colleagues had been deported and 2 last March 2024. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Australia is experiencing significant medical shortages with over 400 drugs in low supply. The Therapeutic Goods Administration, or TGA, drug shortage database includes 424 medications, out of which at least 20 are at extremely low levels. Significant shortages are being brought back on by the lack of drugs such as benzathine, penicillin for upper respiratory tract infections, antidepressant fluoxetine, and Ritalin for ADHD treatment. Ordine, a morphine oral liquid for severe pain management, has been unavailable in Australia since February due to temporary local disruptions and COVID-19. According to the Royal Australasian College of Physicians, or RACP President, Professor Jennifer Martin, current treatments for complicated patients are difficult for both patients and healthcare professionals, forcing them to navigate a maze without a compass and with inconsistent success rates. Furthermore, the disparity in health status among patients with similar conditions is a significant national health equity concern, she added. Meanwhile, the RACP has called for a stronger plan for redirecting important medication supplies to priority groups and patients, emphasizing the major impact on individuals in need. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Maeve. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. 7 people have been injured in the onslaught of Typhoon Aghon. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NTRMC, is still confirming the reported fatalities. Meanwhile, based on the number of affected residents, the Bicol Region is said to be the most affected by the typhoon. Ryan Lacanlale will tell us why.
The Bicol Region was the most affected by Typhoon Aghon, based on the current data held by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC. More than 10,000 individuals have been affected so far. Regional offices are now starting to conduct rapid assessments. According to the NDRRMC report, 8,465 families or 19,373 individuals in 158 barangays have been affected by the Typhoon Aghon. There are still 657 families or 2,162 people staying in 81 evacuation centers. Additionally, 821 families or 3,151 individuals have evacuated to stay with their relatives. 7 injuries have been reported, and the council is still confirming reports of fatalities caused by the typhoon.
We base it on the initial affected population. It's the Bicol Region, 6,130 families or 10,349 individuals. But again, posible ito, pag pumasok na yung mga reports ng ating mga partners and mga regional offices, kasi kakaganda lang ng konti ng panahon, so makakapag-rapid assessment na sila.
According to the agency, it will take several weeks to complete the verification of fatalities from the calamity, but they assured that appropriate assistance will be provided to the families. 7 roads and 1 bridge were affected by the typhoon and are currently being repaired. There were power interruptions in 52 areas in Region 3, Calabarzon, and Region 5, but most of the power supply has now been restored. During the heights of onslaught of the typhoon, operations at 3 airports were temporarily affected, resulting in the cancellation of 7 flights. Additionally, 57 seaports in the country were affected. The NDRRMC remains on red alert until the typhoon exits the country. Ryan Lacanlale, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Typhoon Aghon will move generally northeastward over the Philippine Sea for the entirety of the forecast period. The State Weather Bureau Pag-asa has reported that it may exit the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR on Wednesday afternoon or evening as a typhoon. Jed Neresina details why.
The State Weather Bureau Pag-asa said that areas of eastern Luzon remain under wind signal number 1 as Typhoon Aghon moved further away from the Philippines today, May 27. Aghon was last seen 155 kilometers east of Kasiguran in Aurora with maximum sustained winds of 140 kilometers per hour around the center and gusts up to 170 kilometers per hour, and it was moving east-northeastward at 10 kilometers per hour. Pag-asa stated that the typhoon is less likely to directly bring significant amounts of rainfall within the next 3 days. The typhoon, on the other hand, is increasing the southwesterly wind flow, which will bring moderate to heavy rain over western Visayas and portions of Mimaropa in the next 2 days.
Yung mga nasa kanlurang parte po ng Luzon ay makaka-experience muli ng mga pag-ulan. We're talking of Western Visayas, Mimaropa, then meron din kalat-kalat na ulan sa mga Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, and Ilocos Region.
According to Pag-asa, as Typhoon Aghon leaves PAR, heat index in some areas are expected to again reach the danger level. In contrary to what we have been experienced before, it will be less rare now.
Posible pa rin na makapagtala tayo ng mga dangerous levels of heat index kung dito sa may eastern side. So maring dito sa may eastern Visayas, central Visayas, Caraga Region, Davao Region, northern Mindanao, and then parts of Bicol Region din, posible maka-experience pa rin ng mga matataas na heat indices.
It is also expected that from July to September, the La Nina phenomenon will start, which will increase the rainfall that can be experienced in the country.
By the period of July, August, September, with 69% chance na maaring na mag-swing tayo o lilipat sa from neutral to La Nina episode.
Pag-asa reminded the public to always stay prepared for any weather or calamity that may happen. Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Residents evacuated from the collapsed portion of a road in Valenzuela City will be able to return home after 6 months. Officials have announced that a permanent solution will be implemented to ensure the safety of the residents. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Valenzuela City government already implemented a preemptive evacuation to 26 families along Agustin Street in Karuhatan, Valenzuela City. These residents were affected by a portion of the road which collapsed yesterday, May 26, due to continuous rain brought by Typhoon Aghon. The road is beside the ongoing construction of Legislative Building, which is a 4-story structure with 2-floor basement.
Nakailang report na namin yan, nireport na namin sa barangay, nag-petition na rin kami, address to the mayor, ganyan. Ayun nga, hanggang sa ganun lang, yung parang gagawin, masisira, gagawin na naman, masisira, ganun. Kaya ang advocacy sana namin, kung gagawin naman sana, yung pang long term na.
Basta yung sinasabi namin doon na yung may crack, yung nagka-crack yung sa harapan ng bahay namin na tiniran, mayroon na. Doon sa hagdanan na gano'n, tapos yung kalsadang mahaba. Nireklamo na nung mga may-ari. Tinatagpian, yung butas, ay yung giwang niyang gano'n, pinapasakan nila ng semento. Siyempre, bubuka pa rin yun.
Valenzuela City Mayor Wes Gatchalian explained earlier why the portion of the road collapsed.
Supposedly this month or this week, maglalagay na po tayo ng retaining wall. To formally close. Naunahan ho tayo ng sama ng panahon. In place po yung aming mga steel columns or steel matting. Yung pressure po ng tubig sa ilalim ho ay sobrang lakas, causing it na bumigay.
Department of Public Works and Highways District Engineer Ruel Umali assured that there was soil testing conducted before the construction began.
Nung bago po tayo nagtayo ng building, nagkaroon po tayo ng pag-aaral, soil testing po. So, capable naman po na magtayo tayo ng building with 2 basements.
Valenzuela City will implement a permanent solution including rectification of roads and drainage, structural damage assessment, and installation of the restraining wall to mitigate future risks of erosion and water seepage. These solutions will take approximately 6 months, which means residents who are evacuated cannot return to their houses while construction is ongoing. 12 families among the 26 families are staying in Malinta National High School. They will be assisted by the city government to look for rental houses to serve as their temporary shelter. They will be given 20,000 pesos of financial assistance each.
Kulang ko sa kulang. Pero siyempre, 20,000 is still 20,000. Malaking tulong na rin kaysa sa wala. I mean, pero di ba, hindi enough talaga.
Hindi ko nga alam eh. Ang hirap ng buhay namin. Hindi ko alam kung paano.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A landslide occurred in Barangay Ayo, Dinapigue, Isabela due to the heavy rains caused by Typhoon Aghon. The Dinapigue Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office reported that the landslide affected passing vehicles as it covered part of the road in the area. However, swift action was taken by the local authorities, including the Dinapigue Engineering Office and the MTRMO, who immediately conducted a clearing operation. As of now, all types of vehicles can pass through this road. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or TSWD, has provided over 1.2 million peso financial assistance to families affected by Typhoon Aghon in Mimaropa and Bicol regions. According to Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao, the field offices in the affected regions remain on high alert status and continue to coordinate with LGUs to determine other interventions for affected families. There are also over 600 million peso standby funds and over 1.6 million family food packs prepositions in strategic locations across the country. The Department of Energy calls for energy conservation on the consumer's end. This is while a number of power plants implements forced outages or under rated capacity. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
20 big and small power plants have been on outage or derated capacity after being affected by Tropical Cyclone Aghon. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines issues red alert status notice today with a 6-hour duration due to the thin supply of power. With this, the Department of Energy asks for the public's cooperation to efficiently use electricity in the Luzon grid.
The Department of Energy's call is more of a comprehensive approach rather than just focusing on the supply or the lines or the power plants, but also on how we as consumers can also contribute.
Aside from those affected by the typhoon, several power plants have already been on forced outage or derated capacity. About 4,500 megawatts of electricity was reduced due to the power plant issues. With this, the DOE says the NGCP may continue to issue red alert status notices for a few more days.
If the situation does not improve, if the plants that went offline because of the typhoon do not come back by next week, probably we'll have a red alert also next week.
The DOE assures monitoring of the efforts of the power plants that are already operational and restored from outage. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other global news, as the general election in the United Kingdom looms closer, the Labour and Conservative parties announced their plans on the country's security issues. Gerard Moral will tell us why.
United Kingdom's Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has unveiled the party's plans of focusing on economic security, border security, and national security following the controversial announcement of the Conservatives to introduce mandatory national service. The Labour Party plans to bring the security service, police, and Whitehall departments together to conduct a security sprint, a 100-day review of all the threats Britain is facing, including those from Russia and Iran. Meanwhile, UK's Conservative leader and current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that as part of their plan to secure the future of the next generation, 18-year-olds would choose between taking a 12-month placement in the armed forces or undergo volunteer work in their community once a month for a year. However, the program immediately faced setback as Defense Minister Andrew Morrison ruled out restoration of any form of national service just 3 days prior. Rishi Sunak has also pledged to increase defense spending to 2.5% of gross domestic product by 2030, while Labour said it would match the target as soon as they can and if the economic conditions allow. Gerard Moral, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Hamas announced Sunday, 26th of May, that it launched a significant rocket attack on the Tel Aviv area in central Israel. According to the Israeli military, several of these rockets were intercepted by air defense systems. This incident occurred hours after Hamas launched a barrage of rockets at Tel Aviv for the first time in months. Footage from the airstrike's aftermath on Sunday showed extensive destruction. The recent barrage of up to 8 rockets highlights the ongoing threat from Hamas, despite no reported injuries. This attack underscores the challenges the Israeli army faces as it advances into southern Gaza. Occurring ahead of upcoming ceasefire negotiations, Hamas claimed the attack was a response to the massacre of civilians. By disrupting the calm in Tel Aviv, Hamas might be demonstrating its strength or attempting to derail the talks. At least 35 people were also killed when an Israeli airstrike targeted tents housing displaced individuals in Rafah, a city in southern Gaza. In a statement, the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, confirmed an airstrike on a Hamas compound in Rafah, where significant Hamas operatives were present. The army acknowledged civilian casualties from a resulting fire and stated the incident is under review. On Sunday, sirens sounded in several border villages near Gaza, where some residents had returned since the October 7 Hamas attack. Hamas did not confirm if rockets were launched from Rafah, where intense fighting occurred. Despite international concerns, Israel's offensive in southern Gaza, aimed at eliminating the last Hamas battalions, began 3 weeks ago. Recent rocket attacks underscore Hamas's military strength. War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz argued for continuing the assault. Over 800,000 Palestinians have fled Rafah, and 1.5 million are sheltering there. Aid groups state nowhere in Gaza is safe, with Israeli strikes hitting designated humanitarian zones. Anak TV recently held a workshop in Thailand for young video makers, continuing its series of visual storytelling workshops under the theme Friendship in Diversity. Kath Dumraos will tell us why.
In a recent development, Anak TV has extended its visual storytelling workshop themed Friendship in Diversity to Thailand, following successful events in the Philippines and Vietnam. Young participants from various parts of Thailand, including some from indigenous groups, joined this unique workshop. According to Anak TV President Elvira Yapko, the aim of this initiative is to provide youth with an opportunity to express themselves creatively through video production. Ms. Go emphasized that language should not be a barrier.
The message was very clear to all the media practitioners, whatever skill you have, to all the owners and to all the presidents, CEO of different networks, and also to all the children, especially in ASEAN. We have so much in common. We are the light. We are the one who should give opportunity, who should inspire, who should give hope to the world, because the world is still beautiful amidst the chaotic world that is happening.
Filipino lecturer Direk Nico Cruz was proud to share his expertise, delivered inspiring lessons to the attendees.
Well, nakakatuwa na nagkakaroon tayo ng ganitong klaseng activities outside the Philippines. Kasi meron tayong interactions, no, with other culture. So I think it's nice to have this kind of endeavor also kasi nakikita natin yung value nung ganitong workshops na regardless kung anong language mo, regardless kung anong culture mo, kahit Pinoy ako, kahit Thai sila, nagkakaintindihan tayo with one goal. And I think that's the value of this workshop, no? Visual storytelling. At the end of the day, we don't need to use our language and just use the language of visual storytelling, but we will understand each other in the end.
Thai participant Warinet Term Sirikamol expressed profound gratitude for the experience.
Thank you for all the opportunity that give to us and trust our works, and it's very happy to be the part of this event, and also our team working together with them very smoothly.
Additionally, cell phones were distributed to the participants for use in their projects. Winners of this workshop will have the chance to participate in the Southeast Asian Video Festival for Children, scheduled to take place in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia this November. Indeed, this initiative by UNTV demonstrates that the essence of sharing ideas and fostering understanding in digital literacy transcends color, race, and language, bringing inspiration to the youth of our generation. Kat Maraos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mavian Dog, live from Australia. Good evening.
In other news, exactly a week after the change of leadership in the Senate, Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero clarifies issues surrounding the ouster. This was after Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa claimed that the denial of then Senate President Mig Zubiri to allow Senator Bong Revilla attend a plenary session virtually due to his foot injury was the reason behind the leadership shakeup. Escudero denies this, arguing that there were senators who even supported Zubiri after agreeing to allow Revilla's request.
Si Senator Joel Villanueva sumuporta sa pagpayag kay Senator Revilla, hindi ba? Ako yun din ang posisyon ko. Bakit magkaiba kami ng boto? Kaugnay sa pagpapalit. So tingnan nyo na lamang yung listahan ng mga bumoto at sumuporta, at yun ang sasagot mismo sa anumang katanungan kung bakit nga ba. Kung magkaiba yun, ibig sabihin hindi yun ang bukod tangi at tanging rason para sa lahat kung bakit naganap yun.
He also belies the claim that the investigation into the so-called PIDEA leaks was the last straw to unseat Zubiri. Despite this, Escudero clarifies there was no bad blood going on between him and Zubiri's group, adding that the Senate will surpass the issues as an institution.
Hindi ko naman sila iniiwasan. Kung marahil magkausap kami dito sa Senado mismo, sa labas, kung magkita, o kung na-miss ko sila o na-miss nila ako, madali naman mag-textan din. Dahil hindi naman kami magkaaway, wala ako nakikitang rason para hindi kami maging maayos ang relasyon. Bagaman magkaiba ang pananaw namin sa ilang mga bagay.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of James, chapter 1, verses 3 to 4, it says, "Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." And those are the reasons behind the news, May 27, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I'm Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.